Okay, here's the second installment on Confront. One thing that we had back when I did courses was there was something that we used to say, which was that you want to check for places where you set up your life so that you get to not confront. And people got a lot out of finding those places where they did that. I should probably give some credit to 12-step here. Not that I actually adopted anything from 12-step. Confront is really something it's simple but difficult. It's like what von Clausewitz said about war. It's simple but not easy. And that's the thing about confronting. It's not easy. So, and what 12-step attempts to do, it seems to me, is, work the steps with people. But a lot of 12-step meetings maybe don't do that because people wouldn't want to go to them. So they leave it between the sponsor and the 12-stepper, the newbie, and I think mentorship is also something that works in that. You know, I had I have shown a lot of people how to cure cancer. And what I've noticed a few times was that when I asked people to test themselves to see if they had cancer, like this, you see if you, like, do I have cancer in any of my bodies is the question. And you see if you get an answer. And if you do, you've got cancer in some of your bodies, or one of them, or whatever. Not necessarily the physical. If you have cancer in another body than the physical, it will end up in the physical unless something else kills you first. So I noticed that there were some people who just refused to do the test. Like they wouldn't check if their finger moved if they asked the question. They were terrified, and they had no feeling at all that they were able to cure their own cancer with the same thing they were using to diagnose it. They just, weren't anybody I should have been talking to. So I stopped talking to them. And so I don't know that much about them because generally I discard a lot of people. And that is because I confront, and I confront my own limitations. There was a time when I thought I could help anybody do anything. And that proved untrue. So I don't think that anymore. So now when I see somebody I don't think I can help, I just see, really, you know what I really try to do? Like when I choose people to interact with, I look for people who seem to be helping me. And I used to have a problem with that too, which I cleared up. Because, and Keely helped me with that. Because what she caused me to confront is that getting what I want may not look like what I think it looks like. So I ought to have more of an open mind and let it come. And that's what I do. So when I'm with people and they have, like, obviously killing limitations and, probably aren't going to be much good for achieving my mission, I can find sometimes other things that I get out of them, like just I can become a better person by talking to them. or interacting with them. And so or they make me laugh or whatever, so the people who I would have discarded years ago, now I feel grateful for. It's just like letting each flower be itself. Okay, so that's just one thing I would recommend to you, by the way, is to find places where you have set up your life so that you get to not confront. And I came up with an example of this, which I decided I would use. And I don't want you, I just want to caution you in advance that you may immediately think that this example would only help gay people, but it's not true. This is good for everybody. And it is, something that was more prevalent years ago, back when I did my courses, back before the AIDS epidemic. There were a lot of gay people who were still concealing that fact from their parents. And the way I dealt with, them in the course was that, we would listen to them and we'd hear what they had to say about their relationships with their family and so on, and how they felt about their family and whatever, and have them let go of a few things, And then at some point the course teacher, which usually wasn't me, would say, okay, on the next break, you call your mother / father, whoever, and tell them you're gay. Or you don't come back to the course after the next break. And also, we had a lot of gay assistants, and other gay people were in the courses. And so when they went out on the break, they had a lot of support. And I believe almost all of them called and told whoever that family member was. So the question is, what did they confront? Like, let's do a little, reality test here. Do you know what confronting is? What would they be confronting when they call their dad up, and a guy calls his dad up and tells him he's gay? I'll just give you a minute. Well, I'll tell you, what he would be confronting is how his father feels about him, actually. Like the reality, that's what it brings out, the reality of what his father feels about him. And that's what just so many people don't want to know. When the rubber meets the road, am I still going to have a relationship with my family anymore? And one thing that I used to tell them, and I would tell everybody in the course this, because we were in this course, there was no privacy. I think privacy is damaging, by the way, and I do not offer privacy to people who use our web college, even though I think we do have a privacy policy, but it's not a real commitment to it or whatever, But also, we're a church, and we won't reveal the names of our members, so that, churches don't do that. Okay, that's how the Nazis got people in the concentration camps. Forcing the synagogue to reveal the name of their members. But anyway, I would say to them, if your parents like don't want you around when they know you're gay, then throw your parents in the garbage can. You're too old for parents. You don't need your parents. Grow up. Stuff like that. That's hard for a lot of, it's very hard for a lot of people just to grow up and become an adult. That's something that people have to confront. See, I'll tell you something about confronting, okay? Confronting is the thing that you have to do, and you have no choice about it. You do not have a choice about this. You can't, confront is not optional. If you do not confront, you're going to get nowhere. You're going to manifest yourself the Lamborghini you always wanted, and then you'll wonder why you're still not happy. You're still dissatisfied because now you're driving a Lamborghini. By the way, there's a really great television series, a streaming series. It's called 9 Perfect Strangers. Oh, you gotta see this. You just have to see this. It's just wonderful. What a screenplay. My God. It's just amazing. It's a feat, really. It's with Nicole Kidman and Melissa McCarthy, and a whole bunch of other really good actors. Everybody in it is brilliant. It's brilliant. Everything's brilliant. The performances. It's just, if you have never seen it, you've got to watch this. I've watched it like 4 times. And a little spoiler alert, I did that. I mean, I didn't do it with clients, but when I went to do my therapy, I took a subclinical dose of LSD. And that was how I was able to primal so easily, because I went to do primal therapy. A lot of people have a hard time primaling. And I knew, or at least suspected, that I was going to have a hard time. So I cheated. That's how I get through life. I cheat. You see, something about confronting you have to realize is that just because you're confronting doesn't mean you don't cheat. You can still cheat. And it works. Sometimes, if you cheat about the right thing. Okay, I think that'll be good for this installment.